definitely would have gone through
especially like
that stage.
Testosterone, we're hunters and gatherers. We're on the prowl. It's the chase.
Yeah.
So I've come to a place with myself. I've accepted that I'm even in this actually during my marriage, because I was faithful during my marriage. 100%. I can stand firm in that, but I can't say that I wasn't looking and admiring. It's like I can admire someone else's Ferrari, but if I know I got a Rolls Royce at the crib, I don't want to drive their Ferrari. I just like, yo, that's a nice ass Ferrari. Right. But I'm about to go sit in this, Corniche or this drop head or this Ghost at the crib. Right. So I took it in that sense to where loyalty isn't about, it's almost loyalty and faithfulness are two completely different things. Right. You know what I mean?
I do.
Because I know people who are faithful that aren't loyal. Right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I do. So loyal is to be able to, and it gets back to that trust to where this person has my back in I can't even explain it. It's like loyal is when, because most people are loyal to a point because they need something from you. And when the need ends, the loyalty ends. Right.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's so true.
So, and I've experienced that so much in my life, from employees to partners to all of that. Mm-hmm. So loyalty, I hold at such a high regard that's the number one thing for me. Mm-hmm. Because I, as a man, don't need anything from anyone at the state that I am in my life. Mm-hmm. So my loyalty there's no strings attached to it. Mm-hmm. So if you can get my loyalty, I hold that at a higher level than someone else's. Mm-hmm. And that's what actually worked with Mariah, because she was on the same level. Right. She didn't have to be loyal to me.
She didn't need
to be loyal. I bet you if Mariah came up to me and said some wild shit like, you know what, yeah, we gonna get married and anything, but I'm gonna have this little thing over here, I'm gonna be like, man, right. You know what I'm saying? Because she's at that level in her life, she can kind of arrange her dominoes the way she wants to. Mm-hmm. So, and I feel like I can at the same time. So if we both make a conscious decision that we're going to be loyal to each other because at our core, our two spirits want to be this with each other, absolutely.
It's true.
I can offer that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I should be offering that to people.
But you're capable. So these
100%.
Relationships that you're talking about, you were giving 100. What you wanted.
I gave 100% to Mariah.
So with that, and that's what I wanted to say. Then what happened? Because you guys were loyal. Yeah. You were into the Bible and into God, into holding it down, and it seems like everything was there.
I would say dark forces, without getting too deep into
outside people.
Dark forces.
No.
And I wouldn't even. I don't want to blame, because I always say I never wrestle against flesh and blood, but it's principalities. And I truly believe it speaks in that. I think that's is that Jeremiah Ecclesiastics that has that verse of like the spiritual warfare aspect of it is so real. Yes, the principalities that come against greatness. Right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? With the things that God has anointed, evil spirits will always attack.
Absolutely.
Right. From one way or another. That's why Devil's Advocate is one of my favorite movies with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves, because he goes through this whole thing when he figures out his pops is the devil and stuff and thinks he's beat it, and then the devil comes again on a whole nother sin and plays to it. Mm-hmm. So I seen that type of stuff happen for real in my life, to where people didn't want to see us happy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it actually had nothing to do with her, had nothing to do with myself, but it's like little things that fester, just turn it. Gotcha. And then what happens when you have children, those things become heightened. And when you start to see it affect your children, you have to be mature enough to step up and say, all right, we got to do what's best for these kids. Because if we allow our egos, if we allow our teams, if we allow this system in which we've built to break down and affect our children, and we look up 15 years from now and they mad at us, they hate us, and they have a horrible life because of how we interacted with each other, then we failed, and we can't do that.
So there was no other way to hold that union? Because that's what a lot of people say. They get to a point in a relationship where they don't know if they should get a divorce or not. And they're saying that the easy way out a lot of times is to get a divorce. If we would have ended up having strong resentment and
I don't like to use the word hate, but we would have got to a dark place towards each other. If we would have kept doing what we were doing, because it was a lot of manipulation going on and shit that I just don't stand for as a man. And it's just like, I'm not gonna let y'all play me, you know what I mean, for the benefit, the teams, the system, you know what I mean, like the people around, lawyers, management, you know what I mean, like, and ultimately it's because they respect and exalt their boss so much that I gotta be the enemy,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Because she's right.
Because she's never to them. She's always right. I'm calling you on your bullshit.
Right.
And so then it's like, well, only Nick can get her to do this. Well, only Nick. So why don't they? And then it start mixing our household with business, which I never wanted to do.
Right.
And then one thing, I'm never taking a dime from Mariah. And that's the thing. Even like the dumbass stuff that TMZ is talking about, like I don't know where that shit came from. Like I've always had my own money. At times, a lot more than what people think, you know what I mean? To where a Mariah Carey would even rock with me, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I always downplayed it because it wasn't about that. I was trying to be ego-less, you know what I'm saying? To be like, it's not even about that. But when people are attacking you as if like, oh, you're the boy toy, or oh, you don't matter, and it's like, that type of stuff started to eat at me and even affected my health. And even my doctor started to tell me when it came to my lupus, like, it's because you hold all this stuff in. Lupus is a stress-driven disease.
Right.
You find yourself in a hospital every couple of months because you're holding all this stuff in and harboring all of this instead of living your life how you should.
Are you saying that there was some level of a hierarchy that was being
100%
imposed on your marriage?
I was trying to operate within it, but it was killing me.
I see.
It was literally killing me, and I had to step away.
So if fame wasn't a part of your marriage, do you think that the two of you would still be married?
Yeah, I mean, I'll never stop loving her. Like, that's especially for what she did for me. And that's my children. Let's start there, with my children. And those are the greatest gifts anyone can ever receive. But then, like, I always felt like she held me down in times when I did need her, even like for my health. And it's like when others, because I'm telling you, I'm sure people were always in her ear, like, he's here for this reason. And when you're a person like that, paranoia and manipulation, people play on that.
You're right.
They want to tell you he's here for the wrong reason. He just wants your money. He wants this, or why would this? And like, never asked you for a dime. He's just there because of your status. What are you talking about? I love you. Like, I'm the one. But when they saw that they were losing their power, then I became the enemy.
And you saw this play out in front of you.
100%. Like, when I say like devil's advocate, like, I felt like there was like, and I wouldn't even blame the people. It's just, it was dark spirits.
No, I believe in that. Yeah. I relate. 100%. I absolutely understand what you're talking about.
We believe. Yeah, absolutely. We've had that affect us several times.
Yes, we've prayed against that.
Yeah,
many, many times.
And it got so much to a place, man. Like, it would be interesting things. Mariah had an amazing bishop from Brooklyn. And he was outstanding, and he passed away. And I remember I even, spoke at his funeral and everything, and I felt the energy just shift
and change.
Like, he was really praying for us hard. He married us, you know what I mean? Like, he believed that we would sit with him, and
when he died, it was kind of like the shift.
He was like part of the glue.
Yeah, and it was like, damn. Like, things changed. And it's like, that's when I knew, I was like, yo, this is some real spiritual warfare.
It was like that fort came down that was protecting your marriage. He was our protector. He was the one that was interceding for us.
Gotcha.
And it was like, when that stopped, we didn't have a church home no more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But let me ask you this. If she was spiritual and you were spiritual and you guys came together and that was part of your bond.
Right.
Why not? And you recognize it now, so I'm assuming that you began to recognize it then.
Yeah.
Why not come together because you identified it. Like with us, it got to a point where we identified it. Right. And we literally had to link up and say, no, that's not going to destroy us.
Right.
That's not going to make our house crumble. That's not going to affect us. We're on the inside. They're on the outside.
True.
The devil's on the outside.
100%.
The negative energy is on the outside.
Right.
And we prayed and we prayed and we prayed. And that was part of the reason why we were able to come through. So if you identified it, why did you let it defeat your marriage?
I think because everyone has to be on that same page, and true, like that spiritual journey, when you're taking that equally yoked walk, one can't be in front of the other.
Right.
And I felt like once too many other forces, too many other ideas got into play that altered our walk. I can say myself, honestly, I got to a place where, man, fuck, I don't feel like praying with you tonight. You know what I mean? I was upset. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like you respect me. You know what I mean? My ego got in the way. You listening to all of those people. You know what I mean? And so even if it was the smallest thing, and a lot of it started like, because even our value system and everything with our children started to raise its head. My thing is like, I always wanted my kids to be as normal as possible. So I want my kids to go to a public school. That could be an extreme when she wants them to be tutored. So that's something that everybody has to talk about, their children's education.
Right.
But if I feel like, yo, I want my kids to be normal, I don't want them to be in no bubble like you. If I say something like that, that's an attack.
That is an attack.
You know what I'm saying? And I was wrong for saying things,
and especially
like
when you're at that situation at that time, right?
You know what I'm saying? And then, or vice versa, it's like, or you want them to do this because you want them to be like your dad or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's like, hey, like, and it started, instead of us trying to reach a place where ultimately we want what's best for our children. You know what I mean? We both want the same thing. Let's figure out how to get there.
But you hear that all the time, right? You hear that, people are splitting, they divorce, and they say they want what's best for the children, but usually it never happens. It's usually egos that really affects the kids. So how do you guys, and this will help a lot of people out there, how do you guys co-parent? Because you guys seem like you co-parent cool. Like, it seems like y'all trick or treat with each other. It seems like
Thanksgiving,
y'all do Christmas and Thanksgiving with each other. So how do y'all co-parent and everything is still good?
That's me. I just try to approach it from a egoless standpoint. What if I was in rock and roll shoes, how would I want to see my mommy and daddy interact? And to where the environment is peaceful. And I could get to see my dad as much as I want to see him. I get to see my mom as much as I want to see her. That's all. I'm thinking like, yo, if I was a kid, how would I want this to work? And so I always used to say, even during the marriage, I was like, yo, when Mariah turns hers on, I'll turn mine off. And if I'll go and, all right, this is it's a diva moment. It's we go to Thanksgiving in Hawaii, and she gonna set it off, and it's all the crew and the family and the artists from her tour. I'm gonna show up. I'm a hug. I'm gonna kiss everybody. But that was their moment,
right?
And I was able to share that, and we were able to be together as a family. And I could step away, and I got my own empire. You know what I mean? And when the kids are with me, Mariah's more than welcome to come in at any time, and we shift off like that. But I know when I step into the Mariah world, I got to take my hat off.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's just how it is.
That had to be difficult.
It took, but I do it for the kids.
Because you have to acclimate.
Yeah, but it's fine because we all have to acclimate to something. So and the fact that I'm acclimating for my kid, I would do anything for my kids. It's funny. There's a funny ass picture out there that people used to always make memes out of on Easter, where Mariah has like this cute little pink dress on with the diamonds and the bunny ears, and my kids have on bunny ears, and I'm in a full fucking bunny costume, and I look miserable.
Right.
And then it was like, and then the meme was like, when your wife makes more money than you, and it was like, but I do that type of shit because it made my kids smile.
Right.
And I'll put on any fucking costume to make my kids smile.
I'm the same.
I'll do anything. So I will acclimate to any situation to bring joy to my children.
Who asked for the divorce?
It was weird, honestly. I mean, I guess I filed. I would definitely, but it was one of those things where it was constantly always coming up.
Okay, yeah.
Whether it was a business decision, whether it was an emotional.
Was it like a threat every time you get in an argument? I'm about to get the D. I'm about to get a divorce. Was that?
Yeah, like what are we doing?
How long were you married?
Technically, I think it's 7.5, 8 years.
How long were you engaged in the marriage?
Probably, I think 2014 is when it started to like when I was out. You know what I mean? Like,
it just wasn't there.
Yeah, when I started, I was like, yo, I can't really stay here no more. And that was, I think that's kind of what it started. Like, yo, maybe we just need space.
Right.
And then it was like, oh,
I always feel space is wrong.
Yeah, space turned into I got my own space.
I've thrown the S word in there.
Yeah,
she
more
has
than
a little
bit.
I want space. Nah, you ain't getting no space here. I'm not gonna give you an opportunity for another guy to be what I'm not.
Yeah,
nah. Let me fix myself first. Let me fix up first.
Because as a player, as a dude, that's you always find out where the void is. Whatever's missing in that woman's life, feel that. And you good.
You're good. And then I'm stuck on the side. No, you're not getting no space. Now, with co-parenting, now, if you meet somebody or she meets somebody, when is it okay to have your kids meet your girlfriend or your person? Because
that's interesting. She went quick.
Yeah, and you know,
I've never introduced
your kids was hanging around.
Yeah, I never introduced my kids to any woman up until this day that I mean, like, my kids have been on the set a while and out, you know what I mean? But like, I've never had a significant other, but I've had women be like, "Oh, I want to meet."